So are ministers born or made? Have you ever thought about that? Are ministers, are people that walk a deep spiritual path, nuns, monks, priests, ministers, are people in this world born? Do you think they're born into that role, or are they made through education and knowledge? What do you think? Have you ever thought about that? Hi, I'm David Essel. If someone would have asked me 20 years ago, 10 years ago even, do you think that you would ever become an all-faiths minister? The answer would have been no, I don't think so. And then as I became an all-faiths minister and became the co-founder of an all-faiths church in Florida, I look back over the years and I thought, oh my gosh, you know, this was something that I believe I was born to do. Absolutely. When I think of my Aunt Rita, who's 90 years old now, has been, I think about 90, 89 or 90, has been a nun since 16. You know, she was born to be a nun, absolutely. When I think of a very good friend of mine and someone I have the utmost respect in, Reverend Paul Messner from New York, when I think about him, you know, and his path in ministry, I believe he was born into ministry and then he followed the path to go through his training to become a full-fledged, full-time minister. When I think of my former co-founder of the church, who still is carrying on with the church in Florida, Renee Bledsoe, when I think of her path to become a minister, I think of someone who was born for that path, you know, with incredible skills. But Renee and I and many other ministers that I know, we never went through the traditional seminary or convent route to become professionals, if you will, for lack of a better term. I can't think of a better term, in the world of spirituality, but rather we followed our God's gifts and then went through our own specific training to get to this level. There's so many people out there, and I think this is the reason why I wanted to do this YouTube. There's so many people out there with an immense calling to work in the world of spirituality. It might be to work with the homeless or Habitat for Humanity. It might be to work with the emotionally disadvantaged or the physically disadvantaged, which is all spiritual work, all religious work, if you want to call it that. Sometimes not always underneath the guise of a religion, but all spiritual religious work, that oftentimes think that maybe that they can't do what they really want to do because they haven't gone through the official training. But I don't really know, quite frankly, and this might rankle a few skins or a few habits or a few robes, if you will, but I don't really think in many cases that people who are born with this innate ability or innate interest to serve God in the way they know God to be served need to go through the official training modes at all times to have an amazing impact on this world. And I'm surely not just speaking of myself, but if I think of all the people that I have trained under over the years, you know, for 10 years hosting a nationally syndicated radio talk show, I was gifted, blessed to interview some of the most amazing ministers and monks and priests and nuns to ever grace this earth. I mean, just incredible individuals that I gained so much experience and knowledge from. I had 30 days to work with Reverend Ron, who was a Catholic priest from New York City that was the spiritual director at a recovery center that I was in for 30 days, who taught me so much about God. I mean, I was so blessed to have the presence of this man. And then all of the trainings over the past 30 years, and the books and the courses, all that my upbringing in the Roman Catholic Church as an altar boy and a senior altar boy, and all, you know, we did the Mass in Latin back then. It was so amazing. But I want to share this message because I run into people on a daily basis that don't feel worthy of doing the spiritual, God-blessed, or religious work that they would like to because they haven't gone through the proper training. In their minds, anyway. They haven't gone through the years of seminary. And I think for people to go through the years of seminary, my hat is off to them. Go for it. You know, it reminds me of a story I heard once about St. Patrick and how when he was going through his seminary training that one of the stories was told that he was missing from class all the time and he'd be found out preaching. And when he was being chastised one day about his lack of interest in the book part of being a priest. And then, of course, he went on to rise above being a priest to lead Europe in so many of the amazing things that he did as a Roman Catholic priest, that he said, you know, My work is to be with the people. In other words, go ahead and take your books, and I'll attend when I can, but God's calling me to work with the people. And that's what I'd like you to consider today. If you have a calling, you know it's in your heart and soul, and you believe it is through the monastery or monastic life. And I spent several days with 22 monks in a monastery that taught me an immense amount about God that I'll never forget. But if that's your path, or seminary is your path, or the convent is your path, or whatever it might be, go for it. If online training is your path, go for it. If tutelage with a minister, just working underneath the arm and the care and love of a minister is your path, go for it. In other words, I personally believe that in God's eyes it doesn't matter if you have the official training in your role as a spiritual minister, as a spiritual nun, as a spiritual monk. It's more important what's in your heart. Remember to share these videos. You may know someone who's doubting their ability to take on the religious path or the spiritual path they'd really like to. Please share this with them. And don't forget to join our YouTube video. And if you want to discuss this with me, I would love to sit down and talk to you about your path. Contact me at talkdavid.com. talkdavid.com. I love, love, love. We need more people out there spreading the Word of God in the way they view God, spreading compassion, one of the most powerful forces in the world, compassion, spreading love, spreading the understanding, the ability to be empathetic to people that are challenged. We need more individuals in this light, and I hope you'll make that choice if this is resonating with your soul. Have an amazing day.